Alright everybody, Harry here. So we're going to do an Assassin's Creed Shadows update. Now, what I'm doing is that this is, I think, the third video. So there's so much drama with Assassin's Creed thanks to all these YouTubers that there's just a lot to cover. So, this is what I'm going to explain. So, obviously, 2 years ago, there was a plan concocted by a bunch of YouTubers, including Grums, who's a former lower manager for Blizzard. He used to work on StarCraft and Warcraft, and he lost his job for embezzling funds. And after that, he just never got a job back in the field, and he's pretty much a social media person. He bums money on Twitter all the time. Well, they concocted this plan, him and a bunch of alt-right YouTubers like Endymion TV, Hypnotic TV, Vera Dark, and all these other people. And pretty much the whole plan was that they were going to bash Ubisoft indefinitely, no matter what the game is, what the quality is, in hopes that the company would fail. Simple as that. That's literally what they were doing, is they were trying to make the company fail. So they were being anti-gamer is what was happening. They weren't judging the product. They were going after the company maliciously is what was going on. So Grumps has a massive following. He has over 200,000 followers on Twitter. And all the other YouTubers have a couple 100,000 followers on YouTube for the most part. So he's not allowed on YouTube because, he's been banned from a lot of platforms for being that guy. Well, of course, this is just my opinion. Well, what ends up happening yesterday was that Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft announced that they hit 3 million players, which is impressive because that's within a week. And it's taken Valhalla hit a couple million after like a whole month. So it's like it's faster than Valhalla, and Valhalla sold like 20 million units. So the pace is picking up for them, and it's awesome because the game is a roaring success. Like everything is pointing to it being a success, and that includes the number of sold units. So they said 3 million players because they got PlayStation, they got Xbox, they got Ubisoft Plus. There's another platform, and then they got Steam. A lot of people like to throw out the Steam numbers saying that, it only capped at 60. Well, that was 60,000 at any given time. And at any given time, there's at least 30 to 40,000. So we're looking at there's at least, no matter how you look at it, over 100,000 units sold on Steam because it's impossible for all those people to be on at the same time. So Steam numbers looking fairly decent considering Steam's never been Ubisoft's strong point. Even Valhalla, which was the highest grossing sale ever during COVID, even that one only capped at like Odyssey. Only Odyssey highest grossing sales, that one even capped at like 60. So, and that one did like Valhalla numbers. It was like 20 million. So we got massive success over here when it comes to that. And yesterday they had a scenario happen where Ubisoft and the Japanese investment firm Tencent announced a joint venture where Tencent was willing to give, I think, 1.16 billion for Ubisoft to form a new company, which Ubisoft has control over. And this company has Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy Rainbow Six. Now, there's a couple of different ways to look at this. So one thing is that Ubisoft said it's just those three franchises, but a couple of news medias are like, oh, it's all their popular IPs, which Ubisoft never mentioned. And there's a bunch of popular IPs. There's Rayman, there's Raving Rabbids, there's Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, like all these kind of things weren't mentioned in the press release. It was just those three specific games, which makes sense. Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, and Rainbow Six are the three best sellers. Assassin's Creed's always done double-digit millions. So it's not too shocking that they chose those specific ones for this thing. Now, Ubisoft has a 75% control over this. So they're 100% in charge, and they still own the IPs, like nothing was sold. And it looks like Tencent's just taken a back seat, which is about the same as any major investment firms like Mitsui and Berkshire Hathaway. They pretty much do the same thing. If they take a minority stake, pretty much the way the rule works, especially in the US, is that if you get above 15% of the ownership, you're given two choices by law. First choice is that you can pursue a buyout or you can take a board seat. And Berkshire normally takes a board seat. They let the company just run themselves. That's kind of how Elon got tricked into buying Twitter, is that he got above 15%. They offered him a board seat. He said no, and he refused to buy the company. He got sued and was forced to buy X because he hit above 15%. So it's pretty much the exact same scenario. So Tencent has a seat at the table, which they've already had because they had 15% before they increased it by 10% to 25%. So they've always had a seat at the table. So now they're going to, it's got a stronger stake in the company. So it's not that surprising because a lot of investment firms do this kind of thing. And I've never seen investment firms make like bad decisions when it comes to that. And a lot of them don't dabble in the company's business. Like Mitsui, for example, owns a good chunk of Penske, the movie company. And Mitsui doesn't do anything for that company. And same thing with Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway owns Fruit of the Looms, the underwear company. They don't step in on their business. So it's like, it seems to be a very similar situation. And Ubisoft made this announcement after the stock market in Europe closed. So today, the stocks are probably going to rally, most likely, because that's 1 point something billion into the company's coffers is a lot of money. Especially if it's just for Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. That shows how much faith Tencent has in those companies, which shows, because Tencent's a major shareholder, so they're going to see the sales if they ask them. Ubisoft's going to show, is going to show them. And in this case, it looks like they were so impressed by the sales of Assassin's Creed Shadows that they just put out the press release early. So these kind of things do take months and sometimes years to develop. And the fact that they made it outside of the success of Assassin's Creed Shadows shows that this has been in the plan for months. So it's awesome. So good for them. And I don't really see a bad side to this because financially I understand how this kind of stuff works. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Assassin's Creed was sold to this Chinese company. That's not how it works at all. They're just blowing smoke up there. And it's kind of a shame because I know Americans aren't known for economics and we aren't taught economics in school or anything. And it just shows in this kind of scenario because it's pretty obvious. So the influencer Grums put out a statement. And when the sale was first announced, he put out a statement pretty much stating that, hey guys, we lost, It's like Ubisoft isn't going under. But then he put out another statement saying that we won, I guess he probably deleted the other statement because, his fans weren't too happy with them ever taking a loss. So it's interesting to see it, but it looks like that Assassin's Creed will be continuing for a number of years, and no one's political influences or political beliefs will be a hindrance to us actual video game fans. And we'll be able to continue these franchises that we actually enjoy for years to come, no matter how much these political activists want to influence us in any way or form. All right, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're an Assassin's Creed hater, feel free to leave a comment. Y'all are always hysterical. I love your comments. Something about woke this, woke that, DEI, whatever the catchphrase is for today. Just throw it in the comments. I'll read it. I'll giggle. Maybe I'll respond. Maybe I won't. Most likely I won't, but I might. I like to humor you guys every now and then. Everybody, Harry, peace here. And that is the Assassin's Creed Shadows update for today. Looks like the actual video game fans won. Good for us. And it looks like the YouTubers who do not play video games, that's right, I'm looking at you, Smash TV, Hypnotic, I'm looking at you, The Quartering, Melanie Mac. I'll name all of you guys because you guys don't play games. You're bad for consumers, you're bad for video games, and you're just terrible people. But it's okay. That's my opinion. All right, buddy. Peace.